What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Sports Freak Podcast. I am your host, Patrick Cummings, and here with me is...
I'm Ryan Mooney. Nice to meet y'all.
I am very, very excited for to have like the first episode here today, especially with one of my best friends. Our first topic on this first episode is the Chicago White Sox, and obviously they're off to a dreadful start with a 1-7 record. Currently last in their division. Last year, they had also another dreadful record of 61 wins and 101 losses, which they ranked fourth in the AL Central. I want your take on this, Ryan. Like, what did you think of last season's record and some of the players?
Last season was one of the biggest disappointments I've ever seen. I thought we were going to have a chance to contend for a weak AL Central division, especially after signing Andrew Benintendi, filling up a gap in left field or right field, depending on where he plays. I figured Robert would have a great year, which he did, despite some injuries. Pedro Grifol I thought was going to be a great change in the organization, but he's turned out to be a disappointment. Our starting pitchers last year were awful. Bullpen was atrocious. Liam Hendricks, though he came back, he was never the same after his
cancer.
Yeah, after that cancer diagnosis. Thankfully, he's okay. But I hated to see him leave this season.
Yeah, you know, a lot of what happened last year. Also, it got rid of a lot of players like Tim Anderson. Like you said, Liam Hendricks. It almost got rid of the entire pitching staff.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll break it down like Dylan Cease, Lucas Giolito, Lance Lynn, Ronaldo Lopez, Aaron Bummer.
Yeah. I was also very disappointed in the front office. I liked how Pedro benched Robert last year, and that he turned into an offensive powerhouse after that. Mm-hmm. Even made the home run derby, which is really fun to watch. But the front office, trading away Jake Berger to the Marlins for a bag of chips. Nice. He was a fan favorite, and we got rid of him for nothing. I lost all faith in the complete, whole front office of this organization. The way they treated Anderson, I don't think he was never given any... What am I trying to say here? He was obviously in a slump. But
never got a chance, I guess?
He never received any help or any praise because he was the face of Chicago baseball for a long time aside Jose Abreu. And he started off the season really bad, and we never gave him any help to get him back on track.
You know, I said something last season is I think the biggest reason why this White Sox team fell was injuries. You know, you look at some of these players before and after injuries, and look at Tim Anderson before his injury. He was one of the best players in baseball. Yeah. And he comes back from, he had a couple of things, lower body, upper body injury, I believe.
Yeah.
But he was never the same after then. You clearly see, he never really ran the same as he did last year.
His defense was
his defense was terrible, man. Yeah. It was terrible. But as we go back kind of to the pitching staff, they traded a lot, but they got a lot back in that Bummer trade, which nobody expected that to happen.
That's such a weird trade. We got more in return in my opinion, more in return for Bummer than we did from Cease. For Cease, we got some decent prospects, but I don't think any of them are going to pan out.
Really? I heard we got a pitcher that could strike out a lot.
Yeah, but what are strikeouts if you can't
win
if you can't get out of an inning? I mean, you strike out 2 guys and you walk 4. Mm-hmm. That's been the story of our pitching staff for a while. I mean, that's what Keuchel would do. Or no, Keuchel? I don't even remember what happened with Keuchel. But Lynn was a strikeout pitcher. We had Cease, Cease was a good strikeout pitcher, but he could get the job done as well.
Mm-hmm. And would you say Lucas Giolito could strike out, or is he more of just a ground ball pitcher?
I don't really know. Giolito was able to work batters well. He got a strikeout, but he wasn't a prolific strikeout guy. He had some really good games where he had a high strikeout count, but I feel like it was a lot of the defense. And that no-hitter he threw, I think he won a full game, he had, I think it was 7 or 8 strikeouts, that's not downplaying that. It's still really good, but full game, if you were a strikeout pitcher, I'd see more from that.
All right. So we're going to move on to our second topic of the White Sox. Some of the breakout players that we're expecting from some of the young guys like Brandon Shoemaker. Is that
Shoemaker, I think?
No, it's Shoemaker. I thought it was Shoemaker too. It's Shoemaker.
Oh.
Michael Soroka. Also, Garrett Crochet off to a wonderful start.
Oh, yeah. Closer?
Garrett Crochet? No, he's a starter.
Is it? Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's off to a very, very good start.
I forgot about that. It was against the Tigers. He pitched a great game against the Tigers that opening day.
Yeah, and then he only has the one Sox win to this point
against the Braves, one of the scariest teams in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, nothing more you can do for Crochet. I mean, you're as of right now our best pitcher.
Yeah.
Let's go to offense as well. I mean, obviously we have Luis Robert, who's currently injured. Him and Eloy Jimenez are both injured.
Yep.
So I mean, who else on here do you think is capable of being a good hitter, not necessarily a star hitter?
I mean, it's a pretty small list.
I mean, I think Corey Lee, as a hitter, I haven't seen much. I need to see more from him, but I think he's off to a solid start too.
I mean, I never had any faith in Corey Lee because I knew he was a big prospect for the Astros. He was supposed to come up and replace Martin after this happened, after he went to a bummy team because he could no longer bat and his fielding had significantly declined. But he never panned out. He was in AAA for like 2 years, I'm pretty sure, sitting there, and he never showed any improvement that could have warranted him being called up to the Astros, who were already a pretty stacked team. And it crosses over here, even on the White Sox, where our catching has and will be very bad for a few years. He's not showing the improvement. He's not stepping up to a starting role. He's got 1 RBI in the season. His average,
Tigers,
his average, I'm pretty sure, is sub 100.
Okay.
It's not showing me right now. There's only 4 players on the White Sox that have over 3.1 plate appearances per game. Moncada, who's batting .276, the highest on the team. Robert, who's .214. Vaughn, who's 179, and Andrew Benintendi, who's batting .91.
Yeah, obviously it's still early in the season, so you can't necessarily judge everybody yet. Yeah. But like by game 30, if the numbers are still what they are, the White Sox still only had that 1 win. Things aren't going to look good. I mean, I have them, and this is not necessarily overreaction from me. I look at this team and I say 30-win team this year. 30 wins.
I'd say 30 wins is awfully low. Last year, the Athletics, they had 40 wins, didn't they?
Oakland?
Yeah, Oakland Athletics.
We'll check. The White Sox. The White Sox last year had 61 wins.
Yeah.
The Chicago White Sox had 61 wins last year.
30 wins is awfully low, though.
I mean, it's low, but it's believable.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll take a look at what Oakland did. Oakland, obviously, the worst team in baseball as last year in the American League.
Yeah. Last year, the Athletics went 50 and 112.
50 and 112.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe it is an overreaction from me. But I mean, what do you think? Do you think there could be a 50-win team as well?
I think they're going to be at maybe like 7 or 8 wins worse than last year. Because at some point it gets hard to lose that many games. You have to be an awful team.
Yeah. Pedro Grifol.
Pedro.
Do you think he's fired at August, or is it going to be an off-season thing?
I think there's no point in firing him during the season if we're not going to try and turn it around. Yeah, if we're not going to contend, there's no point. Let him finish out this year, see if he shows any promise. If not, then let him go in the offseason. But I don't see any reason to heighten the already, upset clubhouse with firing their manager.
Okay. as we move on to our last topic, what can the White Sox do to improve this season? Is there really any ways that they can improve?
I have no idea. They don't have any trade pieces except for Luis Robert, and if they trade away Robert,
well, Garrett Crochet could also be in that list too.
I don't know if contending teams will be 100% on in Crochet because he came off that Tommy John surgery. This is his first year in, I believe, 2 years of him making the opening day roster as a functioning pitcher. Unless he's, lights out from this point forward, which he very well could be considering his first 2 starts. But unless that happens, I don't know if he's going to have much value in terms of trading.
I think so. Obviously, the one expectation this year in terms of improvement is defense. A lot of what Chris Getz, is that his name, Chris Getz?
Yeah.
What Chris Getz did to improve his defense. Paul DeYoung, although some of these guys can't really produce offensively, defensively they can light it up. Like Dominic Fletcher, he was really good defensively. Paul DeYoung could play defense.
Yeah, Paul DeYoung's a good defender.
Martin Maldonado, he's another guy. See people want. I think he's a big reason why the Astros won the World Series because of his catcher ability.
He reminds me a lot of Yadier Molina. Yadier Molina was such a good catcher that there's some graphic I've seen. It's like the entire Yadier Molina had more bases or more runners caught stealing than entire franchises during the end of the season, which is crazy. He had such an impact on the coaching of teams and what they would do on the base paths, and I agree with you. I think Martin had the same effect. Not as good as Yadi, because nobody compares to Yadi in terms defensively, but he definitely had a big impact on the postseason runs and the championships.
All right, guys, that is it for the first episode of Sports Freak Podcast. Our second episode should be about the Chicago Bulls and play-in predictions. They are more. I think they have clinched the play-in spot, I believe.
Yeah, they have that spot right now. They're fighting for seeding with Atlanta. So right now they're actually fighting. I think they're the play-in. They're set. They're the ninth. Yeah, they're the ninth seed.
What they're fighting for right now is home spot. We'll discuss all that in the second episode. We'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.